that was lovely. I really appreciate that sound. And I hope that you take the memory of that sound with you and let you know that we, the peacemongers, we're behind you 100%. You see, I know that as a military spouse, that a lot of things, your stance that you're taking for peace requires a lot of courage. And just like everyone here, that it takes courage to be in this room to say, no, enough is enough, peace now. That you have that courage to be here inspires us. Because it's not easy being a military member and taking a stance for peace. And I believe and I hope that the sound of that applause will carry your burden just a little bit. I really do. And if there's anything that we, the community, can do to support your efforts, please let us know. Please keep in touch with this organization. Marie Marchand is in her 4th year as the leader of the Bellingham Peace and Justice Center. She has helped establish the Peace Center as a professional, vibrant organization. She works to build relationships with a variety of community stakeholders, including the university and high schools, local and national elected officials, and law enforcement. Marie believes that keeping the voice of peace and justice in the public sphere is essential. Her writing appears frequently in our local, regional, and national media. We are grateful to have her in our community. Please welcome Marie Marchand.
Thank you, Spokane, and thank you, Doris. I love you. The word protest derives from the Latin protestere, to witness or tell the truth. And each of us protests in our own way. It may be dramatic and revolutionary, or subdued yet persistent. But wherever this drive comes from, we share in a unique place inside ourselves, a place of honor, a place of duty, and integrity. When we find this place within ourselves, we become powerful. And when we join with others, this power gains an indelible and commanding force. The Whatcom Peace and Justice Center works to build and strengthen this community because we need each other. When we asked Phil Keenum his definition of resistance, he said, resistance is when you stand strong and tall so the person leaning on you doesn't fall. Like a family, this community mourns together. We grieve for the people of Iraq and all that has been taken from them, their lives, their children, their land and resources, their art, and thus their culture. War is a brazen thief, stealing much from us. It has stolen Jonathan Santos, Aaron Reed, Joseph Blickenstaff, and Nate Nakias from people in this community. In July, it stole Tim Nelson. When a veteran takes his own life, he is not taking his life. It is being stolen from him. War fails to recognize life's sanctity, and it damages us as individuals, as families, and as a community. Also, like a family, we seek out ways to balance this grief so that we might find solace and experience joy in this life. So we celebrate together the promise of peace. Sometimes we eat together, we share stories about our lives, and we unite and organize to make the world a better place. And we remind each other that we are making a difference. Today, I am surrounded by some of my favorite heroes. Kathy Kelly is brilliant, fierce, and luminous. In her book, Other Lands Have Dreams, she wrote, "I never want to be a spectator a bystander, sitting on my hands or standing on the sidelines in the face of unspeakable evil. International Day of Peace is about getting off of the sidelines. And thank you, Kathy, for being here with us today and leading us on this journey. Howard Harris is another of my favorite heroes. Howard is in his 90s, and he is a professor of anthropology at Western Washington University, still teaching correspondence courses. He's a lifelong Quaker. In 1967, he and his wife Rosemary started the Friday afternoon vigil, which still continues today and is hailed as the longest running weekly peace vigil in the nation. Howard was the first recipient of the award that carries his namesake, and other recipients have been Nick Neely, Reverend Al Dale, and Dottie Dale. And I'd like to ask the four of you to please stand so that we can recognize your contributions. The recipient of this year's award is also a hero of mine, Doris Ferm. Doris Ferm's great-grandparents were Quakers in Philadelphia. For her, spirituality and social justice go hand in hand, and they seem to be genetic. During the Vietnam War, she co-founded Columbia, South Carolina's Quaker Meeting, which became a magnet for people opposed to the war. She also co-founded chapters of Clergy and Laity Concern and Fellowship of Reconciliation. She was a representative to the Friends Committee on National Legislation, which is the Quaker lobby that works on peace and justice issues in Washington, D.C. Doris practices a deep reverence for the earth. For several years, she was on the steering committee for Quaker Earth Care Witness. She volunteers weekly with Conservation Northwest. On Earth Day 2007, she masterminded a creative plan to broaden awareness about global warming. She posted signs along the waterfront at a height indicating where the water level will be in 20 years if global warming continues unabated. She has been a stalwart presence at the Friday afternoon Peace Vigil. She supports and volunteers with the Walking Peace and Justice Center and is currently working with Rosalinda Guillen of Community to Community Development to put together a resolution for sanctuary for immigrants. Quakers believe that there exists an element of God's Spirit in every human soul, and that all persons have inherent worth. Their opposition to war and injustice comes from these beliefs. Doris Ferm embodies these ideals of spirit and justice. I am honored to present to her the 2008 Howard Harris